Hi, this is Gary Yelton with Synth and Software. I'm here with Dave Smith, the president of Sequential. President, isn't that your title? CEO, founder?
The guy.
Yeah, the guy. Formerly Dave Smith Instruments, yes. So that tells you a lot right there.
Exactly.
And Dave is going to show us his latest instrument, the Pro 3.
Monophonic synthesizer. Yes.
Yeah, well, how is it different from the Pro 2?
Significantly, as it turns out. Apparently some people think it's just a Mark II, Pro 2, but no, it's not. Well, I can go into all the details.
I wish you would.
How would you like to do that? Well, we could start with the oscillators, completely different than the Pro 2. We have two VCOs, so 100% analog, the normal shapes. You could morph between them and you could shape mod them. But the third oscillator is really new. It's a wavetable oscillator. It has 32 sets of 16 wavetables. And the 16 wavetables in each set are meant to be modulated between smoothly. So for example, a sound like this. So 16 different tables, but it goes really smoothly between them. Or the next one would be completely different. Anyhow, you get the idea.
Yes.
And so you can go two ways. You can go classic old analog synth with the two VCOs,
right. Or
you can go new digital edgy, or not always edgy. I mean, that last one, it's wavetables.
Yes.
It's a drawbars. So that's kind of nice. It doesn't sound digital. It's just an alternative.
Are they the same digital waves as in the Pro 2, or
no,
a totally new set?
Yeah, it's completely different.
So I can't get rid of my Pro 2 and get one of these?
Well, you shouldn't. It's
okay.
a different musical
yes.
instrument. It's like some people have a Prophet 6, some people have an OB6,
yes.
some people have both. Do they look the same? Kinda. Or they operate the same? Kinda. But they're two different musical instruments.
So this is, as your entire career since the Prophet 6 been leading up to this instrument?
On the monophonic side, yes.
Okay.
Again, we went from Pro 1,
yes.
everybody knows, back in the 80s. We went to Pro 2, where we kicked it up a big jump, and now we're to Pro 3, taking all of that stuff and putting it into one little box.
That took a while. Your pace of progression seems to be accelerating from the Pro 1 to the Pro 2 was how many years, and then the Pro 3 a couple of years later?
Yes, it's over a wide swing. But as you know, we've been doing mostly polysynths.
Yes.
And we just thought it was time to revisit the monosynth, and we thought we'd do the ultimate version.
Now I understand the sequencer is similar to the Pro 2, only extended a bit.
It's, more features and much easier to use. I could, if I want to record a sequence, I hit record. Just some random notes, and I hit play. We have live swing continuously variable. You could add slew, hit a button, put in a rest, or ties. So it's all really quick. But what's really cool is it's 16 tracks, and if I want to record like a cutoff, I don't have to go into menus and set everything up. I just hit record. And I've recorded that. If I want to do distortion, hit record. So I have now 3 tracks. If I want to add feedback, hit record. So you notice I'm not looking at the screen.
Yes.
I'm not looking at menus. You can see it if you want to edit it, but I just skip all of that. So, we can go in reverse by hitting a button, forward reverse, random can be kind of fun sometimes. It's very quick, very capable. We've got 4 sequences per program. Each one is 16 notes. So you could have up to 64 notes, or you might have different 16 note sequences that you could jump between during playback. you could set, we have the 4 control voltage in and outs that we did on the Pro 2.
Yes.
So, and it's the same thing, everything's running at audio rate. You can take 4 of the control voltages and have them run from the sequencer. You might have an oscillator from your modular that you want to run in and mix it up with the audio here, or whatever you want to do. And it's different per program. So we think that's a more intelligent, simpler way than adding 35 jacks for all the ins and outs. You just, whatever you want, you know, it's pretty powerful.
It sounds like anyone who's comfortable with using the Pro 2 sequencer would pick this up right away.
Certainly.
Even if they're using the external CV outs and controlling external hardware.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very cool.
It's an excellent controller for a modular
system.
Yeah. We haven't talked about the new filters.
Oh, please.
Yeah, this is pretty major because, you know, whenever you design a synth, well, what filters are we going to use? And, you know, people will buy an OB6 or buy a Prophet 6 based on the filters.
Yes.
So we said, okay, let's pick the 3 most classic filters in existence and put them in the same machine. So the first filter is the Prophet 6, Prophet 5 filter. The second one is a classic ladder filter. And the third is the OB6 FCM filter. And you could just hit buttons and select which one you want.
And you can sweep the different filter types as you can with the OB6?
No, because with 3 filters, it was just going to get real screwy with the front panel UI, and you'd have to add a whole bunch of VCAs to try to do all of that sort of thing. So,
well, no, I mean the filter types like from low pass to high pass to notch.
Well, the SEM is a state variable.
State variable,
so
yes.
You know, if I hit that,
that's what I meant.
Yeah, so I can go from low pass to notch.
There you go. That's what I wanted.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Now I understand. Go ahead.
But that's only on the SEM.
Right, of course, of course. I understand it's a paraphonic instrument.
Yes.
How does the sequencer deal with?
You could record all 3 notes.
Oh, you can?
Yeah,
absolutely.
It'll set up the first 3 tracks to do the individual. But yeah, I could just... I think this one actually... Yeah, this is paraphonic.
Excellent.
In that sequence. And of course, I always try to remind people that you don't have to have exactly the same note. You might want to change the octaves. It just gives you a whole different feel. So that you can use different wave shapes. It's just fun.
Yeah. Visually, a lot of your instruments have been a little bare bones, you know, not very fancy, and here you're offering an upgrade. And I think that's a brilliant idea.
You mean the big knob?
Well, no, not the big knob. I mean the wood and the tilting panel, that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, as you can see, we have 2 versions.
Yes.
The standard version and the special edition. And yeah, we wanted to kind of dress it up a bit, and you know, it looks cool. The panel goes up and down, and has all the nice wood trim on it. When you put it down, it's got magnets to hold it in place, so if you're carrying it, it doesn't flop around like that. And it just looks really cool.
What kind of wood is that?
It's probably walnut.
Okay.
You know, we try to use wood,
lovely.
Real legal wood.
Yeah, of course, of course. Do you think you might ever try other woods?
You know, every time we look, it's either not sustainable wood, or you can't get consistent results.
I see.
Or the cost is way out of whack.
Because I would love to have a maple version.
No, you like the maple.
I do like maple.
See, I've never been a lightwood fan, so you're dealing with my...
Yeah, with your taste, of course.
Not your taste.
Yeah. Being an instrument introduced in 2020, and one of the buzzwords for 2020 being MIDI 2.0, are there any capabilities like the ability to transmit to a MIDI 2.0 compatible instrument, its capabilities?
Not at all at this point.
Is that something that could be done in a firmware upgrade at some point?
Possibly. I have not been keeping up with it. I'm kind of waiting until they actually finish it.
Right.
You know, because I'm not going to try to, you know, somebody just introduce something that's the first 2.0 instrument, but it's when
it's not compatible with anything yet, yes.
It should work.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's pointless.
I saw that yesterday.
Yeah. If everybody agrees and everybody starts implementing, sure. then we'll jump into.
Okay.
We're not going to be the first one to sign.
Okay. So, something I've noticed about your company all along is that you've got some great employees, people who know what they're doing,
Yes.
and are very supportive of your efforts. How do you find these people?
I think they find me.
Oh,
in
really?
a lot of cases. We
Excellent.
actually haven't hired anybody in 3 years.
Yeah.
It's still same 15 people, and we're all fanatics. And there's some luck to that because a lot of our hires have not been extensive. We don't do this big wide search and have 50 people come in because it's too much trouble and I'm too lazy.
Yeah.
But if we have somebody walk in and it's like, hey, this guy seems to fit in just right, then yeah. So we've been very lucky to get the right people, and everybody works well together.
Yeah,
and
obviously.
that's actually part of the reason I changed the name of the company from Dave Smith Instruments to Sequential is because it really is a team now. It's just not me.
Yes.
I'm part of the team and I work with everybody, but it's really a combination because we all come from different directions.
Right.
We have some great arguments when.
Oh, I could imagine.
Yeah. No. Yes.
Yeah. Well, probably like any synthesizer company.
Sure.
Or any manufacturer of technical gear.
Well, but I think in a lot of companies, certainly the bigger ones, you usually have the case where you have the sales and marketing guys over here who talk to a bunch of musicians and they write up a spec and they send it to the engineers who may or may not be musicians, but they're technicians, and then they go back and forth and then they finally design something. Whereas we just, we are all the same thing, and
Yes.
we could just jump right into something that ends up being very cohesive. And that's why people like our synths, because they're approachable, they're very targeted. It's not like, well, we're kind of all over the place. What is this thing? It's very focused.
Do you have any interest in expressive instruments that support MPE, or are there any aspects of the engine that are?
This is monophonic. So.
Yes, yeah. Well, yeah, very good point. Very good point. Well, for instruments in the future then?
It's been on our list for a while, not for a while, but it's like one of those things that someday we'll do it on a new polyphonic instrument. And usually how that works is once we do it once, then it's easy to port back to other products. Like we finally did alternate tuning.
Yes.
A handful of people who, a lot of them you probably know, keep
Yeah.
asking for it, and we finally just do it, even though hardly anybody uses it. And MPE, I think, is the same thing. You have a handful of people who really, really want it, but most of our customers are professional keyboard players
Right.
who they just want something that sounds great, that they can tour with, that's reliable, and frankly, they can give a shit about any of that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And so, we're being a small company, we don't have extended resources to implement anything we want at any time. So, there'll be a right time, and then we'll do it, and then it'll be done. So kind of like 2.0. It's the
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah. Wait and see.
Yeah.
Is there anything your competitors are doing that you think will influence what you'll be doing in the next year?
That almost never happens.
Really?
Yeah, we just get together. It's never like we should build this because they're building that. Like, this has a wavetable oscillator. That wasn't in a response to the fact that everybody else has wavetable machines all of a sudden. Because, of course, we started this quite a while back.
Yes.
And since then, there's a Hydrosynth and the Korg thing.
Right.
And, so everybody seems to think that wavetables is a big deal. And for us, we have an analog instrument with VCOs, and we put that in just to take it over the top in a certain direction, and we have our own way of doing it that we think is very logical and easy to use, and just makes sense. But we always feel that the first time we start following other people's directions, then we're following and not leading.
Better to be the leader.
It's better to be the leader, but even that, for us, it's just we want our personality to come out in the
Right.
character and the sound and the operation and the interface, and that's what gets us excited. If every time we're saying, well, this product has that, maybe we should think about that, or this thing has that, if we don't do it, nobody's going to buy it. It's like we don't design these, this isn't an EDM techno machine, it's not
Right.
a composer's thing, it's not a bass player's machine, it's just a cool synth.
Yeah.
And then people will use it however they want.
That
And you always hope they like it, and from our reaction in the last 3 days, it's looking like people do.
I'm not the least bit surprised. Now, you mentioned it took a while to develop this, that you've been
Yes.
working on it a long time. Do you have a typical timeline for developing a new instrument? I mean, is it like a year and a half for each instrument? And
No. This one took a little longer for a number of reasons, so it was a little over a year. Some products could be done in 6 months, 9 months. We actually have a new product within a few months.
Oh, really?
It's a different type of thing, and it's a little easier to design.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
But, you know,
say as much as you want.
yeah, it's been a long time between the Prophet XL, which came
Yes.
out like November, I think, in 2018,
Yeah.
until this. So that's a pretty long stretch
Yes.
for us. It usually doesn't go that long. But then we'll surprise people. Well, I guess we're not going to surprise anybody by having another new instrument, within a few months.
Yeah.
So it's random, and it's all based on what we decide we want to do.
Well, you do typically come up with about one instrument a year, so in a way you're making up for last year's
Yes.
lack of
Yeah,
introduction
exactly.
by doing two this year.
If we look back over the last 10, 15 years, it probably averages out to one per year.
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that our readers should know about the Pro 3 or?
Well, dual digital effects, 4 envelopes, 3 LFOs. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
that's chatter.
Okay.
So, no, I think we kind of covered the basics. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Dave. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Barry. That was fun.
All right. Take care.
Synth and Software.